13-9. Trojans haven't punched it into the end zone all day. Down 13-9, just over 7 to play, fourth quarter. Send Mayava under center, first and goal from the 4. Marks dots the I. The freshman Olsen's the fullback. Fake the handoff to Marks. Mayava back to pass. Plenty of time rolling right. Pressured from behind. Steps out of a tackle. He runs left at the 10. Flips back to the end zone. Catch is made by Lane. Back left pylon. Touchdown USC. A bobbling.
And welcome everybody to another glorious episode of Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas. And as always, I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle. And then PORSBR is .bsky.social is on Big Sky. I'll be transitioning from X or Twitter to Blue Sky. Did I say Big Sky? I think it's Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Yeah, Blue Sky. So check me out there. So we have one of our guests. Our guest today is Nathaniel. He is from the Swampy Coliseum podcast. They talk Gators, they talk Trojans. So That's always fun. You get a little coast to coast there as far as that. They also talk a lot about college football in general as well too on their podcast. So thank you for joining us here on the Student Body Right USC podcast. He's got the Dodger hat on because Blake Schnell is rounding out the rotation out there.
Oh yeah,
at Chavez Ravine. So and putting us Giant fans in hell again as far as that goes. But let's just start off with, like, if somebody told you, after year one of Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams, Heisman Trophy, that USC would be 6-5.
Oh God!
First year in a Big Ten. And they said, hey, in the opener, neutral field, they beat LSU as well. You would probably say what?
I mean, honestly, if we just go how we started this year, I was a big Miller Moss guy coming out. I mean, I watched him in the Holiday Bowl like we all did, and expectations were high. And when we beat LSU, which I thought was going to be one of those top tier SEC teams, I got a little on my high horse. I put down some bets that we'd make the college football playoffs. It was before the LSU game, but after that, I was like, oh, it's on. Like, the defense looks amazing, which all year long, our defense has been the best thing about this team. But it's just where did that offense go? And just we never played complimentary football. But if you told me beginning of the year we'd end up where we are right now with a quarterback change, I probably thought the quarterback change was because Miller Moss got hurt or something like that. You just not the way our season has actually gone.
And let's talk about that, because I was lucky enough to get press credentials for the Holiday Bowl, so I was on the field watching it, and I said, I was saying to myself, like, maybe this is. I was still a little worried because I think I'm a little older than you, and I'm not like fickle. I'm just like, I try not to get caught up in the moment. And I after zooming out, and we have our co-host of the show, Coach B. He remained skeptical all season, all the whole time with Miller Moss, and just said, like, this is a guy who really, I don't think really fits Lincoln. He's so different than what Lincoln's already had.
Yeah.
So that's what he was skeptical about. And it turns out like it wasn't even that. It really was just him just with the frantic Derek Carr type turnovers. Like, I'm a Raider fan.
Oh,
that's what he would have the most. Derek Carr used to have the most gut-wrenching interceptions, turnovers in the most critical moments of games. And where, let's be honest, like, if he just takes a sack in some of those games, like Minnesota or Washington, they win both of those games, and it's really frustrating. So I know you're a big Miller Moss guy. What are your thoughts about, like, the decision? And obviously, I think it was probably a mistake to a certain extent, because it's just not like, this is not the style of play that we're used to as far as Miller Moss goes and what his skill set is opposed to his past quarterbacks like Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I think we all kind of watched that. I think even, Coach Riley, he saw that game, and the amount of times we threw in that Holiday Bowl, just like thinking back to it, we barely ran the ball. We were chucking it. I think Lincoln Riley kind of saw that game and was like, this is fun, calling up pass plays the entire game. And I think he kind of started running with it over, the off season. So I think it was a mistake. I think Miller Moss was the best quarterback for us to start the season. I think our offensive line let him down early. The amount of times he was on his back, just getting blown up in that Michigan game, in that Minnesota game, it was, that's going to take a toll on a quarterback. But I think it was the right decision early. I think maybe if we wanted to win as many games as, planned, might have had to make that pull maybe after the Minnesota game. Definitely that Maryland game, we're on that edge. Like, we can't be losing to Maryland.
That I could tell you, man, I think that was probably that's where I personally would have just pulled him out of the game.
Yeah.
Because when you're up 2 scores and driving for the finishing touch, and you throw a pick six there, that's just like, you can't throw a pick six there, dude. You got to throw the ball away. Initially, Coach B and myself, we just wanted him to just, like, a lot of teams were playing 2 quarterbacks, give a couple of series, each half to Jaden Mayava, and get the RPO game. I mean, I don't think you remember the fourth. I think they had a 4th and 1 against Nebraska. The way how naturally he pit the pitch,
triple option
to Woody up the sideline. I mean, that was just like, I was like, this is beautiful. Like, just doing that a couple times a game would have been perfect. And I think Lincoln's at fault as well, where, like, he could have just, like Woody Marks has 1,100 yards. He could have 1,400 yards if we just ran the ball, especially in those road games.
I think it's so tiring each game watching, as a fan, I'm like, okay, I believe in Lincoln Riley. He's way more educated. He's been at this longer than I have. Well, I've just played high school football. That's about it,
exactly. Yeah.
But then watching that, especially that Washington game, we're going up against a top Big Ten, pass defense, and one of the worst rush defenses we'll see all year. And we threw it so many times that first half. Like, we were yelling at the screen, just run the ball. And then what happened in the second half? We ran the ball. Yeah. And then,
I think sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think one thing, though, we did get stuffed on that 4th down near the end zone, but that would have been the perfect time to have a Jaden Mayava running a triple option. They were stacking the box. They were pushing everything right down the middle. And then if we just had a pitch play or some type of triple option to get the ball outside, that would have been a touchdown. We would have won that game.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why, because even Penn State played 2 quarterbacks, Washington played 2 quarterbacks. Like, I mean, it just made so many teams we played this year, and in college football in general, just played 2 quarterbacks. It just made no sense. As far as that goes, Danton Lynn, obviously, we just hope that people don't notice too much about what he's doing, if you will. It would just, and I said it, and I was like, this would be the freaking luck of USC to have a defense that gives up 20 points a game, and Lincoln Riley can't find the keys to the offense. But at the very least, I think he for sure will be back next year.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll I think he'll at some point get a job, but I think a head coaching job. But right now, your thoughts about him and the way he because he's up for the assistant coach of the year as well too.
The Broyles Award. Yeah. I think that was one thing after the LSU game. I'm like, we might just have 1 year of Danton Lynn, but I think he'll stick around at least 1 more year. We still have Entz, running the linebackers. We have a couple guys that I wouldn't mind, moving up to that D coordinator role. It's guys like, Coach Henny. It's like, I don't even know how we got him here in the first place. Like, how long are we going to keep an NFL defensive line coach as a defensive line coach in the Big Ten. So
As long as the check's clear.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, but we're lucky enough where like those guys love LA,
Yeah.
and they're not.
That's the game.
He coached with the Rams for years, like so. Like I
Mhm.
mean, like he and like friends with Aaron Donald. We all know the whole story.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I think that's one of the reasons why both of those guys are going to be going to be integral parts of what they do going forward. And at the very least, they do have they do have guys who are capable of calling plays down the road.
Yeah.
If Lynn went, if Lynn went going, if Lynn goes anywhere, but I think the thing with Lynn that I think is interesting is that, and I know that I think Jakeem Stewart he's supposed to come to USC, so I guess on three and on Rivals said he's going to be
Yeah.
going, he's going to be coming.
They crystal balled him. Yeah.
Crystal balled them. So usually when on three does the guy's coming.
Yeah.
This is what the defense was missing, because imagine what they did on the field this year without a kind of a star defensive lineman to go get the quarterback. So then you have the role players did great, but now you have him. We thought about like this could be Sean Cody. This could be like that could be a big moment for USC to start getting defensive linemen.
Yeah. I mean, just watching, especially the last, couple weeks, Cam Fountain, he's going to be great.
Yes,
so just imagining him off the edge,
yes,
having Jakeem Stewart just like right up the middle. Oh man, I like, I'm just not fantasizing, but I mean, the next couple of years we're gonna have that pass rush that we didn't have all year. I mean, the reason why I feel like our defense have let up a lot of yards in the run game, giving up a lot of short passes is we can't get any rush without blitzing everyone. And if we're blitzing everyone, that's leaving one-on-ones with a lot of soft coverages. So I mean, if we can get some natural pass rush from, a four, sending four guys, someone like Stewart, someone like Fountain, that's going to elevate that defense into the next tier. We're 32nd right now in total defense. I think, that elevates us inside the top 20, inside the top 10.
Yeah, no question about it. Biggest surprise, like positive surprise you've seen from this team this year?
I mean, we've been hitting on the head. I mean, the defense has been, I think in my mind, seeing Danson Lynn in the offseason, like, okay, he's going to turn around this defense.
Yep.
But, there's always skepticism. We had Todd Orlando. He was supposed to, make things fun. And then we had Grinch, who was supposed to bring a havoc style football, which worked at Washington State, and we had all these guys that were supposed to change this defense and they didn't do it. So I think that was such a big shift, like watching that LSU game where we were letting them, bend us, but they never broke us. And I think probably the second biggest surprise, you have to give out a shout out to the Guy Award finalist, Eddie Shapliski, I believe, pronounced his last name. He's a game changer. I think that's going to be a key for this Notre Dame game, just being able to pin them back if our offense doesn't do anything and making them drive the whole field. That's such a weapon.
Yeah, he's been really good. I thought the kicker was going to be. I thought kicker. Here's my thing. It's like, when are we going to just get a good kicker? Like, I mean, the first kick from the when UCLA, I think UCLA scored their first points of the game was 54 yarder. I'm like, dude, so so the Bruins just have a guy who kicked 54 yards right down the middle. Like,
right.
Penn State we put in the Penn State game. We had a huge they have a kicker who's like 6'4", but he could kick the ball like down from here to Pomona. Like, I mean, I just can't.
Yeah, where are they getting these guys from?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm really of all the losses this year, the most disappointing loss of the entire season was what game for you?
It's hard because there's so many just bad losses. I think the Michigan State I got over. It's big environment, all that stuff. Some of those bad losses, it's whatever. I think the biggest one for me that I wanted so bad was that Penn State game.
Yep.
I think we had them. We were playing football like
that was brutal.
Yeah, the first couple losses we had, I guess it was Minnesota and Michigan. The whole thing was we started slow and we came back too late.
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing going into that game where we need to start fast. We need to put our foot on their throat and we're good. And we start fast. They seemed like they were, the lower ranked team trying to, upset a top 5 team. They're running, trick plays. They put Tyler Warren at quarterback. And I was sitting there like, wow, they have no idea what to do. James Franklin's not meant for these big moments. And then the second half starts and we don't score twice and we just let them go down. And as they're scoring, as they're coming back, it's just that feeling of we're about to let this go. And then, of course, I know there's a lot of disagreement on how Lincoln Riley, handled the time at the end of the game, but I thought it was brilliant. I think wasting the time just so they can't get the ball back. And if Deuce Robinson makes that catch, if Miller Moss puts it where he needed to,
there you go. Okay,
field goal range. Yeah. It's hard to overthrow someone that's 6'6".
Yeah, that was that. So I think, to me, like that was the game that where like it could have kind of turned the tide of the season. That's why it was such a big loss, and I felt like you had everything in that game. You had the huge, trick. That were kind of fake reverse where Joyner went up the sideline, showed his brilliant speed. You had so many things in that game, and you had what you've had all year. When the defense needed to make a stop,
they did.
They made a stop, and we had the ball. We had the ball with just like the LSU game with tie. When the game was tied, I was like, okay, we got it. Like, the game is tied. You go down, kick a game-winning, easy field goal, and you're good to go. And then I think that's when I knew like the pressure of the moment. While he tries hard, while Miller Moss tries hard, and he means well, and he loves the program or loved the program. He like the nerves, like nerves were there on that play. The play Deuce Robinson, because that ball is so high and so far, you just put it on his chest. Then it's gonna be a 20-yard gain. You're on your way to doing what you got to do to win that game. I thought that game could have really helped them to turn the season around. So that game was it would help them in as far as like still outside chance of a playoff spot.
That's a top 5 win right there.
The top 5 win. Like look where Penn State is right now. So that was probably the biggest one of the season, and then it just continued. And I just don't know why. And I think I wish I could ask him this question, but like, why do they throw the ball so much on the road?
It's
like it's like 45. It's like 45 attempts every road game.
Yeah, it's insane. I think Washington, he was pushing 50. Like, why are we against one of the worst rush defenses we'll ever see? Like, the first half, I kind of understood. They stacked the box a bit, so that kind of kept us from running it in the first and second down. And then third down, it's third and long. Like, what are you going to do? But it's how do you, beat stacked boxes like that? Exactly what we did in the second half. Just spam counters. And, they might stop it once in a while by just getting depth, but we just spammed counters and they could not stop it. So we have ways to get around stuff like that, especially with, one of the best running backs that I don't want to say we've seen in a while, because we've seen some pretty good running backs come out of the USC recently, but this is one of the best ones that we've had in a minute. So I just shout out Woody, man. But
shout out Woody and his moms and the fools who were giving them death threats after the game from UCLA. Is just it was absolutely ridiculous. But he's going to be a good pro. He's going to be a good pro. I got a couple birdies in the league, and like they like him a lot. So like he's definitely going to be a good pro as far as that goes. I view you. I'm a unique USC fan. I love the rivalry with UCLA.
Oh yeah,
I love that game. The game that they're going to play on Saturday is a game that I wish we didn't play anymore. I don't see the purpose, especially being in this conference now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see the purpose. I don't see why we play him anymore. I was with Lincoln Riley about playing him. I know like some people love the Notre Dame game. I don't like the Notre Dame game. I think it just helps Notre Dame. for the most
Yeah.
part, because they refuse to go into a conference. What are your thoughts about that part of it? And then also, what are your thoughts about do you think they can beat Notre Dame this weekend?
Yeah. So yeah, that one's a tough one because in the Pac-12, yeah, it's fine. We have there's a bunch of teams that we can just kind of walk through um without really thinking much. Especially this year in the Big Ten, we've had probably what 2 or 3 games that we don't really have to pay much mind to, and we lost like 2 of them. So it's definitely tough to, balance it out when you're looking at the SEC. They
Mhm.
say they have the hardest schedule and they play one less conference game than everyone else. But it's like, okay, you see a team like Florida, like talking to Andrew every week, it's like, damn, the last 5 games they played, I would kill myself if I had to play that game. Playing Texas, Ole Miss, all these top 10, top 25 teams in a row. And then, there's an FCS school right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That just imagine playing one more conference game. And then on top of that, we're supposed to have 2 easy games. We don't play FCS schools because, that's another tradition USC has.
Yeah.
I really love the tradition. I have a lot of friends that are Notre Dame fans. It's really fun, with the discourse. But I mean, unless these schedules are getting easier, I think it's not feasible to continue to play a team where they're going to be a top 10 team every year. So that's just adding to the strength of schedule, which could be good for us. But then on the other side, it's like we're having a game either in the middle of the season or at the very end of the season
Yep.
where we're not going to have a bye before this game ever.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yep.
not going to, we're not going to have easy games because it's either the UCLA game ahead of it or normally a solid, conference team right before it. So it's tough. Maybe if we move it to the first or second week, I would be more behind. But I'm kind of on the fence right now.
Make
Where
it the opener. Like I've always said, like just make it the opener. Like
exactly,
I'd rather make it the opener than have it late in the season because then you can actually recover if you do lose the game.
yeah,
But I think I'd rather go to. I mean, they don't really go South Bend late in the year. I think it's an agreement that they made back in the day.
just so we're not freezing when
Yeah,
that
it's not freezing or whatever. Because I do think because there were players who got frostbit really bad and got real injuries from playing in that because USC is
happens.
not used to it. But I'm to me, I don't love that aspect of it. But if you make it the opener and it's the opener every year, I'd rather deal with that than
Yeah,
anything else. As far as that goes, but can they win that game? Can they win? I mean, is Notre Dame better than Penn State?
that one's tough. I think if it's so hard. Like we're saying, like you were literally just saying, Notre Dame plays no one. They play a bunch of mid to low tier ACC team. Credit to them. They're supposed to play Florida State this year. Well, they did, and they destroyed them. But Florida State is one of the worst teams I've seen play football.
Yeah.
And I mean, they want to keep tradition, but in this expansion, like all these, big power conferences with 20 teams, it's not, you can't not be in a conference. And they're just picking out just okay teams. They're playing the service academies, which I
Both of
mean,
them. Both of them. Not one. Both of them.
yeah, both of them. And granted, they out physicaled both academy schools, which is tough to do because those are some physical teams. But like watching Army play, like when Army's playing their conference, opponents, they're just mauling through them because they're more physical, they're more, they're better skilled, and they don't have the talent, but they can execute and they get stuff done. But going up against a team with more talent, that's going to fade so fast. So just watching Notre Dame is tough to gauge because watching that Texas A&M game at the beginning, after I saw that game, I was, especially after the LSU game, I knew we were going to win. Like we have similar talent level, but we're just more explosive. But watching them down the stretch, I think we have a shot. I mean, I know there's a lot of pessimistic USC fans I see all over Twitter or X now, where it's we're gonna lose by 20, we're gonna get smoked. But I think if we're able to stop Singleton, on Penn State. Like he had nothing going against us, and we forced Aller to throw the ball. And once he started completing passes, that's how they started scoring. But I think Aller's better than Riley Leonard. And I think if we're able to stuff the run game, stuff Jeremiah Love, just like we did Singleton, I think we have a great shot at winning this game. We just need to put up points against probably, I think they have a better defense than anyone we've seen all year.
Yeah. So we'll see that. I think the thing that really worries me about this game is that Leonard gives you a element that we haven't faced all year. Is that his ability to run, and they're going to relentlessly run him. They're not gonna stop running him. They're gonna keep running him all day and all night. So I would say that that's the thing that I am worried about as far as that goes. Notre Dame, but I think Notre Dame probably ekes out a victory. They have to watch out Notre Dame because let's be honest, like they're gonna push a third. They're gonna in the CFP. They're gonna push a 3-loss SEC team in the playoff. Yeah. It's coming. They're already priming you for it. So you have to get ready for that. See what else we got, Nathaniel. I think I got so Juju watch is over. Thank God.
Oh my gosh, that was so stressful.
To me, it wasn't stressful because I was like, I feel like, I mean, they're going to get a quarterback. USC's not, I'm just worried about winning games. They're going to have players on the team. People go crazy about like, I'm in a USC chat where everybody goes crazy over every single recruit. And I'm like, dude, it's not the players. We're going to have a good team. We're going to run out of talent on the team. We just have to make sure that the coach is ready to win games. So we'll see what happens there. Now, last thing would be Longstreet comes in. I mean, obviously a kid who really wanted to come to ASC in the first place. What are your thoughts about Lincoln? Like, can he crack the code and just like stop? I'm not saying stop recruiting nationally, but like taking the time and just say, hey, listen, a lot of the pieces to the puzzle are in your backyard.
Yeah, I think a lot of the outroar, I think that's why, fans voicing their opinions is big because we saw how heavy a lot of fans are putting pressure online. We're putting pressure publicly. We had Matt Leinart, we had Lendale White saying out loud, hey, you need to recruit in state. And this was around like right before the bye week. And I mean, of course, the flip with Juju and Hassan Longstreet happens. And then we start, we got a couple guys from Folsom. We have a couple more guys like Carson Cox who we're, priming the flip. And I think he's starting to make a more, a bigger effort to get these guys. And I mean, that's the way you need to win in California. You get the top dudes here, maybe looking at like RJ Sermon next year, but keep the top dudes here. And then if you see someone like Thanos out in Louisiana, you go grab him.
Yes, because those guys are. It's hard to get those guys here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like everybody else, offense. I mean, like all the wide receivers, the linebacker, you can get those guys here, but those guys you have to sometimes got to leave. Like Big Cat, you have to leave California to go get him.
Yeah, Joe McKnight, guys like that, but. I think, that's why how many guys from Georgia did we get at the beginning of the cycle? And they've all decommitted. We just had Ty Jackson from Florida decommit, but I wonder how that USC chat for you is going with all these decommitments lately, but the replacements we have coming in,
they've been impressive. I can't lie.
Yeah. We're upgrading at every position. I think the Cash Jacobson kid that we got, I think he's highly underrated. I think he's going to be a 4-star before, the cycle ends. But, if we beat Notre Dame, I think that's a lock for Madden Faraimau, I believe is how you say his name. So I think there's a lot of people that, have some insight on, our recruiting, and they're all excited for how we're going to end this up.
I do think. I mean, they were interviewing Lincoln Riley today, and he was smiling a lot about how they're going to close.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Lincoln's smiling about it, so that means it's probably been pretty good. But 25 looks like a pretty good cast of characters.
Yeah.
I think the people were getting on who's the strength and conditioning coach everybody tries to criticize.
Oh gosh.
I forgot Wiley. But
Yeah.
Wiley's only going to give you the bodies that the coordinator wants. Like, Alice Grinch wanted sleeker, slimmer. So like, see, that's what he gave him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now he got, now he's getting bigger guys too as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for it. They have some really good prospects coming in here. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. And you just want to just keep stacking classes over and over again. For number 14 right now on 24/7. So if they got Thanos, and obviously that would go up. So we'll see. Got a couple 5 stars in there as well. That's always good news. So
yeah.
All right, student body right. We're here. We're talking to Nathaniel of the Swamp Coliseum podcast. Where can they find you on Twitter or where are we on social media?
Yeah, so we haven't started a X account yet, but follow us on Instagram. We post pretty regularly at the Swampy Coliseum. We're on Spotify, the Swampy Coliseum, and we are on YouTube at the Swampy Coliseum. So yeah, we cover Florida. We cover USC and college football, and we have a fun little trivia segment we do each week. So yeah, tune in.
All right, and thank you for joining us here. I could be this. This is a good one because I could have went all day. We could have went all day.
Honestly,
talk SC football, and hopefully we'll come back in the offseason as well. We'll see what they're bowl eligible now, so we'll see what bowl game.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. Usually Notre Dame plays spoiler better than SC does, right? So usually that's the case. So, but we'll see what happens there. I think ND wins 31-27, but I could be wrong. I
think it might be the homer in me, but
31. And then take it back. 31. This is another thing that frustrates me. God, we only get 30 points one time all year. God damn it! 30 points for only one time for the entire season. That was like a regular occurrence with Alice Grinch. Right, oh my god, we don't get 30. I just realized that looking through the scores the other day. I was like, we only get 30 points one time the whole year, and we're still 6-5. That just drives me crazy. So it's crazy. That drives me crazy. That is what it is.
Right. Yeah, I saw a stat. I think Josh Pate posted it on Twitter or something where he said there's six teams in all of college football that have led in the fourth quarter every single game. Yeah. One of them is USC with 5 losses, and the other 5 teams have 5 losses between them. And one of them's Oregon. So everyone's a 1-loss team besides one team that has 2 losses. And then USC has 5.
I mean, I don't understand. As far as like the losses have been brutal. I just don't under. I mean, I just feel like on the road. I think it is time though. I think it is time for him to. It doesn't mean that he's giving up play calling. I do think it's time for him to get an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Like, I think it is, dude. Like this job is like the job is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't ever fault like somebody who has no ideas. Like, you know what I'm saying? So maybe somebody off of a quarterback's coach off of Ole Miss's staff or somebody like that. Like, I got a team that scores a lot of points, whatever. He like you can't refuse really good help, man. Put all that pressure on you, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I think they can definitely use that. And I said, like, you could always use a quality ear, giving you information. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Nathaniel, have a great day. Enjoy Drake. Hey. Enjoy Blake Snell. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I will.
The hell, God damn it. All right, take care, brother.
All right.